r/rules horror. Posted by u/alpha_cryptid. I took a job as a night guard at an electronics store and found a strange list of rules to follow. My name is Nathan, I am 36 and lost my job during the COVID crisis. Who knew being lackluster with your job and putting in the bare minimum gets you fired, and with new people graduating each year, there wasn't a scarcity of people ready to take up that job. When I started working as a data analyst, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I would even go out of my way to make sure that everyone was happy with my work and work ethic. The bosses were happy and I got raises quite often. But slowly, the fire within me to do more or to excel and be the top got extinguished. Everything just became boring and repetitive, my work ethic suffered and I basically had no more motivation left. I just worked and paid and that was it. No more life and enjoyment did I attain from working my dream job. After the first month of being fired, I quickly realized that no one was interested in hiring a washed-up, 36-year-old data analyst who had just got fired because of his incompetence. The young, motivated bunch were the move when it came to hiring. But I was not going to settle for something like this. My methods were a little outdated and I just knew I had to get back on the market just to survive. So I thought of a plan, to study all the new aspects of data analysis, remotivate myself, work on my body to be more active and look a little better, and all this while working a part-time job just to keep the money coming in. I was ready to scratch and claw my way out of this. I was ready to turn my life around. And the events that followed literally turned my perception of life around. I reached out to my local fast food chains but they did not require any new employees, so I started job hunting on the internet. I came across an ad for a job as a night guard. The only requirements were to have a healthy heart, to know your way around some basic technology-related stuff, to be friendly to the customers, to follow a given set of protocols without question. I clicked the link without even thinking twice, and a page opened up, basically providing instructions on how to apply and also mentioned the pay I'd be receiving. I had to work 4 days a week, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and I'd get paid $600 every week. I made some quick calculations, $2,400 a month for basically doing nothing and chilling at an electronics store. I mean, who even shops at a store like this after 12 a.m.? I applied and within 3 hours got an email, telling me that I had got the job, and giving me a number to contact for further queries. I was pretty happy, and things were started to shape up. I got back to exercising, got a part-time job to sustain my expenses. Still, I'd be ready to get back on the market. I called up the number given in the email, and an old woman, with a gentle voice, picked up, and started before I could say a word. "Hello Nathan, congratulations on getting this job, you can start working from today itself." A bit weirded out from the suddenness of the words and the unusually jolly tone, I said, "Hey ma'am, I would love to start from today. Where is your store and when do I have to show up?" "Oh yes, arrive at address omitted, at 10 o'clock p.m. sharp." Before I could even get another word in, she hung up. I felt uneasy after this interaction. Her not telling me her name and avoiding talking to me could mean trouble, but she could also be a scared old lady who happens to be socially awkward. I didn't overthink it much. I arrived at the given address at 9:57 p.m. On my way there, I slowly realized that this particular place was in isolation, with not one creature visible from where I stood. It was deathly silent and, quite frankly, an overall eerie environment. I entered the building at 10 p.m. to realize the building was empty too. I turned my phone's flashlight on and looked for the light switch. When I finally did manage to turn the lights on, I was a little surprised by how dusty and dirty the place was. The place also had a lot of old-fashioned and vintage electronics, and some knockoff products. The most surprising thing, I thought to myself, was how are they even going to afford a night guard for $2,400 a month? That'd be insane. The building had just 5 rooms, a gaming room which had a PS3 installed, and most probably they charged a certain fee for its usage for a specified amount of time. The room also had a bunch of PSP, PS2 and PS3 games, some vintage Nintendo consoles and cartridges, Xbox 360, its games and its accessories, and a few really old gaming laptops. Another room was the storeroom, which stores broken arcade machines, damaged electronics and a few rusty steel chairs. The third room, that also happened to be the largest and was the only entry/exit point in the building, was divided into 2 sections, one containing the cashier counter and a security desk, and the other contained everyday electronics like washing machines, dishwashers, refrigerators, etc. The fourth room had other small electronics, like pen drives, SD card, trimmers, printer ink cartridges, batteries, etc. And finally, The fifth room was a bathroom, a very filthy and unhygienic one. I sighed and walked into the room with my security desk. This was going to my life for a while now. I settled down on the old revolving chair and noticed a piece of paper kept on the table. It read, "For the night guard." I picked it up, turned it over, and started reading. "Hey Nathan, welcome to the first day of your job, and I know you might feel alone and a bit afraid, but just know that you are not alone. You have two associates, Callus and Tenebrosity. Both of your associates have been given their names based on their personalities, so I am pretty sure you wouldn't want to anger them. You will have to follow a specific list of rules to stay safe, and keep this building and possibly the city safe. Please do not question or tell anybody about this. If we like your service, we will double your pay from the next month. But if you open your mouth about this, you will be dead within a minute. Rule 1. Look out of all the windows at least once in the span of an hour. We do not want to scare you with what will happen if you don't, but we assure you, it's in your best interest to keep a check on the supernatural beings coming after you. Rule 2. During the night, if you see a man outside any of the windows, just pick up the rag covered in blood from below your desk and throw it outside the window in the general direction of the man. Because it is not a man. We would also advise you to then look away, because Callus is going to kill and feast on the creature. Looking at the ordeal won't cause you any harm, but we figure you wouldn't be very comfortable knowing that there is a giant creature stronger than any known terrestrial being in your vicinity, which could break the whole place down if it intended to do so. Not to mention it looks terrifying and may give you night terrors when you eventually leave this job to get your life back on track as a data analyst. Rule 3. Now that you're here, do not try to run away, as Callus is going to get to you no matter how hard you try. He is going to give you a very painful and brutal death, so please just cooperate with us. Rule 4. If you hear a noise coming from the gaming room, immediately scream at the top of your lungs and duck underneath your desk, and close your eyes. You might hear loud roars, and you might even see shadows moving differently, but do not react if open your eyes more than 2 seconds at a time. Keep blinking, although completely closing your eyes would be preferred. Tenebrosity does not like being seen. The noises should cease within a minute. Now just go back into the room and keep the games back where they were. They'll be scattered across the room. Rule 5. If the power button of a washing machine turns on by itself, you have to put a piece of clothing in and start the washing process. Failing to do this within 2 minutes of it turning on will anger the forces trying to get it. They'll ditch the wind and go in full force. Just pray that Tenebrosity and Callus are strong enough to hold them back. Rule 6. If you see someone in the reflection of the refrigerator door, do not turn around. Instead, open the door casually and take the pistol kept in the refrigerator. There is one in each. Turn around, and shoot the man. All this should be done within 7 seconds. Any more and your chances of survival will slim down by a large extent. Rule 7. If all the electronics start turning on, take the noise-canceling headphones kept at the cashier table and put them on. Close your eyes and lie down flat on the floor. You will hear a lot of loud noises, scary noises, and thumping noises. You might also feel canines or a snout poking at you. Play dead. Do not open your eyes or move, and it will go away in less than 5 to 6 minutes. Rule 8. If the power goes out completely, which it has only once in the past 9 years, we are sorry, there is not way out of this. The best option you have is to shoot yourself in the head. Rule 9. If a man in a red jacket walks in with a child and asks for the usual, pack him an electronic trimmer, a few Xbox games and an SD card. He will pay and leave and won't bother you again for at least 2 to 3 days. If he just stands there instead of saying anything, shoot his child and then throw the blood-covered rag on him. He will melt away into oblivion. This, however, will be required to be executed with caution, since he might jump on top of you and bite down on your gullet with his canines before you can even properly react, so be prepared. I kept the piece of paper down, and just stared at the ceiling for a good 5 minutes, contemplating what I had just read. Then I called up the number of the old woman, but the number was invalid and no such number ever existed, not even in my call logs. I opened the door to run out but was met with a low-pitched growl which made me quickly change my mind. Now I am deserted and stuck here. Now only God knows what will happen next. I am writing this as a log. Should I go missing? You know what happened to me.